This is the DTV Homecoming Pregame Show, hosted by Mason Polmanteer and Drew Duncan.
Welcome to our 2021 Homecoming Football Pregame Show. I'm Mason Polmanteer.
And I'm Drew Duncan. Today we're going to talk to some of the young guns and underclassmen that help keep our team going.
And later we'll talk to some of the big guys up front that keep the QB safe.
And later in our show we'll talk to some pros that know a lot about football.
So Davidson's season has been a series of ups and downs since competing for a state title the past 2 years. Let's start with a quick recap of the season. The 2021 season started off with a big game, figuratively and literally, at the Battle at the Big House. To make the stakes even higher, it was against the Clarkson squad that's beat them every time they've met.
Unfortunately for the Cards, it was a close matchup that would end with Davidson losing 26-29. They didn't have much time to recoup, with an even tougher Detroit Catholic Central team on the clock that Friday. Both teams were coming off tough losses.
That's right, and DCC would walk away from that matchup at the 500 mark, while Davidson fell to 0-2 for the first time since 2013. Week 3 was a chance to rebound from a tough start for Davidson though, taking things back to the new turf at Cardinal Stadium, all in front of a full capacity audience for the first time since 2019. They were up against an also winless Bay City Central squad, and the Cards would christen the turf with a bang, taking on the Wolves in a big 42-20 win for their first W of the year.
After that week, it was back to some more stiff competition, this time coming from inside the SVL, with Grambling sporting an undefeated start with momentum and experience on both sides of the ball. Grambling handed Davidson their biggest regular season loss since 2014, with a final score of 7-43.
Just like with Week 3 though, Week 5 was another chance at redemption, being back at home against a similarly 1-3 Carman Ainsworth. It would prove to be just that, making for Davidson's biggest win of the season after their biggest season loss in years, taking Carman down 50-13. Tonight, it's a chance to make it back-to-back, with Saginaw United standing in front of them. But looking back at this season, a big part of the results so far has been because of the underclassmen help. Chloe Hugg got a chance to sit down with two of those youngins.
Hey everyone, I'm Chloe Hugg here with AJ Hill and Tion Armstrong, two of the young guns on Davidson football team who are making a name for themselves while playing a major role in this year's team. So both of you guys are key players, getting a decent amount of playing time. But what's special about you guys is that you're both underclassmen. So what do you guys think your best assets and contributions are to this year's football team?
I think that us being young helps a lot because we get to build chemistry.
Yeah, I think that being young helps us really a lot because the chemistry as we go on to next year with the freshmen that's on the team, it'll be really good.
What's it like taking over on a team that just played in 2 state championships?
It's hard. It's kind of hard because you have a lot on your shoulders. People saying, "Oh, y'all gotta make it back here," and all that.
Yeah, we have a lot of targets on our back, but we the underdogs this year.
How do you think you guys are going to overcome that pressure that you guys are feeling from the outsiders?
I think we'll do great. I think it's giving us fuel and fire because we hear a lot of people saying we're not good and we're not that. So I think we'll do great.
Okay, so who on the team is like your hype man? Who gets you going every day? Who is like the energizer?
Tion.
I'll say me.
Tion.
I just turn on the music, dance, get everybody going.
That's awesome, because I feel like you're pretty quiet like at school, so that's cool that you have like a different like personality off the field. So being that you guys, or the football program has played in 2 state championships the last 2 years, you guys might experience some pressure from outsiders who like just want you to win, want this and want that, but they don't realize the work that goes into it and the players that you guys lost last year. So how do you guys like deal with that pressure that you might feel from other people?
Well, it's not really pressure on me. It's like, cause I feel that this is what I like to do, so I'll just go out there and do it, no matter what everybody's talking about, the outsiders. And I feel our team will do the same thing.
I feel that it's a lot of pressure on me because I'm like a freshman and like I have to work hard and succeed every day.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us so much. I wish you guys the best of luck for the rest of your season.
Tian and AJ both made some major contributions to the team this season. Tian has 265 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, while AJ has managed to average 51 rushing yards a game and made it to the end zone 3 times.
Into the end zone for a Cardinal touchdown.
Just like we wear helmets during game time to protect us. wear something off the field too.
Only you can say you're Davidson made, which means staying safe and following the rules.
Just like you, we've been waiting all summer for sports and school to come back around.
But we still have to do our part beating COVID-19 by wearing a mask.
Wearing a mask will help keep you and everyone around you safe.
We're all on the same team.
So mask up, Cards.
The skill players on the football team tend to get most of the attention, but the biggest players, literally the biggest players, don't always get that same love. We got a chance to sit down with one of Davidson's linemen and dive into the hog culture. How about them hogs, Chloe?
I got Isaac Norton here with us, one of the top hogs on the varsity football squad. And if you don't know what hogs are, Isaac's going to tell you a little bit about them.
So we're all the offensive linemen of the football team, and we describe ourselves by hogs just because it's kind of like a common thing among most football teams. And so it's pretty much where the hog saying comes from. It's been around ever since our head coach, Coach Sullivan, played at U of M.
What's it like being a part of the hog team?
Well, it starts off when we're young, you know. Back when we were all in like 7th and 8th grade is when we all started getting into the hog culture. And a lot of times offensive linemen don't get a lot of appreciation, and so we kind of create our own squad, kind of like saying we're the team of this group. A lot of people don't see what we do, but we make a lot of things happen on the field.
Right,
so.
like you guys make the game run smoothly, right? What do you think makes the Hogs group special compared to like other football teams on the team?
A lot of it is how close we have to be as a group, because I mean there's 5 of us and we all have to work in perfect unison when we're playing, and a lot of that translates to off the field too. So we all we go golfing together sometimes. We all have our own dinners together, and then we all have our inside jokes with each other in our group chats and things like that.
It's definitely important to have like a bond with the people that you're going to be playing with all the time.
Definitely.
So, sure. What's your favorite part about being a hog?
I think it's the inside jokes. There's a lot of stuff that we talk about in our group chats that we kind of like shame other people if they let it leak. And it's fun to play with each other about it.
What is something that most people don't know about the Hogs?
I think a lot of it is how much we pick on each other, even though we're all so close together.
Right.
It's a lot of people don't even notice hogs a lot of the times. I mean, everyone goes to the football games and they see the quarterback and they see the running back and they see them making all the plays, and they don't realize how much we congratulate each other ourselves on making those things happen.
Right. So can you tell me a little bit about like the hog mindset? Like what goes through your mind when you step on the field?
When we step on the field, we know that everything that we did in that week, we all have to do perfectly. We all have to do our jobs. If one guy messes up, it screws up the rest of us, and then we all get blamed for it. So a lot of it is just saying stick to your task and trust the guy to your left and right, and then we can make big things happen.
So out of everybody that's part of the Hogs, who do you think eats the most?
Jackson Rice.
Really?
Yeah, he eats like 3 McChickens before every practice.
What's something that like your coaches preach to you? Like what is like one main maybe saying that they say all the time?
We've got our own saying in our hog group called "and then some." So you always do your job and then some. You go find some more work. You do what you're supposed to do, and then you go find more work to do. Because sometimes it's not just enough to just do your job, but if you go and then some, you do some more work, and then sometimes it can lead to big touchdown blocks or big breakaways, things like that.
Who is the fastest lineman and who is the toughest lineman?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I think Zane Richardson's all got his beat in the speed category right now. Acceleration, but I can run farther than everybody else. Toughness, that's tough too. I mean, we all get hurt almost every week and we all play through it, so I don't think one person's tougher than anybody else. We all gotta stick together on that. So.
Yeah. How hard is it being in those trenches and not getting that much love for it, but you're going against these big guys that are just as big as you guys and just as strong as you guys? How hard is it to do that every single week?
A lot of it's pride, because we don't get a lot of praise for what we do, so we kind of got to pride ourselves on it. Say like, they congratulate AJ or Braylon or Tion on something, and we kind of ourselves are like, yeah, we made that happen. You know, it's our pride. And going up against all these other big dudes, we just got to go in with the mindset that we're tougher than them and that we're going to battle it out and we're going to work harder than them. We're going to outwork everybody else, and that's usually how we get through.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for being here with us today. I'm going to throw it back to you guys on the show.
A 3-year starter, Isaac is one of the captains in the varsity squad this year. He's held down the left side of the line for 3 years now, since the days of Sully.
We got spirit, yes we do. We got spirit, how about you?
School spirit goes beyond the stadiums and is more than just wearing the gear. Here at Davidson, it means sticking together and staying positive. Throughout the year, we need to keep our spirits high and follow the Cardinal Code.
It starts with us, Davidson. Only we can make a difference. To show your school spirit, you can help each other, get and stay involved in activities, volunteer, and do little things like hold the door open.
We've got school spirit just like you.
Go Cards!
Here at DTV, you've gotten used to us students talking Cardinal football day and night. You get a unique point of view from students that know and talk to these players on a daily basis. But how often do you hear from pro analysts talking Davidson football? For the first time, DTV presents Ask the Pros. So today we brought in two of the area's most knowledgeable people in the football game, Ryan Slocum from State Champs Network and the voice of Davidson football and the Great Lakes Loons, Chris Jarrett. Thanks for coming, guys. Let's start with the Cardinals. Coming off those back-to-back state championship appearances, things haven't started as planned for them this season. What do you think going on with them?
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think, Mason, that might have been a little bit of the expectation. The expectations are obviously really high when you come off of 2 trips to Ford Field back-to-back years, but this is a group that knew that they had a lot of younger guys filling some big shoes.
Absolutely. You lost a lot of guys, starting with Brendan Sullivan. Of course, that's a massive hole to fill. Hemmeline's done what he can so far. And then you look at your line, and you had an injury at the beginning of the year as well. Jalen Flowers didn't play in the first couple of games. So I think they didn't know what to expect exactly. And that's always the thing. You can't win 9 games every single year. You can't make the state championship game every single year. So I thought there'd be some growing pains here, and now maybe they got the ball rolling a little bit getting into the middle of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the SVL. There's some new faces coming into the picture. Who do you think's really stood out there?
Well, obviously Grand Blanc. I know a lot of people around here aren't going to want to hear that, but obviously Grand Blanc, they're rolling right now. We thought they might be the class of the southern area, and they are doing exactly as advertised. They're rolling, they're undefeated, they're playing very well, ranked as high as number 2 in I think some of the rankings, depending on who you look at. And then up top, Mount Pleasant has been the standout, but you never know. There's a Lapeer team that I think is very good too.
Well, and what I think is special about the SVL, especially in the South that you were mentioning, you had Lapeer win it in 2019 when Davidson would beat them and go all the way to Ford Field. Then you had Davidson's year in 2020. Now you've got Grand Blanc, and it's just kind of been a rotating cycle where you've had those 3 teams, the best in the area, frankly, as of late, kind of taking their turns atop the SVL in the South. So I think it is Grand Blanc's turn. But, just the way that it's going to fall in terms of the district picture, you might have another team get a shot at them, and that Lapeer game is going to be tough.
Well, and Grand Blanc also, man, they're kind of the opposite of Davidson because they're very heavy with the upperclassmen right now. You got Elijah running the ball, one of the best players in the entire state. He's a Mr. Football candidate for our Mr. Football award. He's in the top 10 right now. They got a quarterback that won a baseball state championship, and the team won the basketball state title. So they kind of know how to win right now. Their guys have done it. So, it's probably their year. I don't see any fall off here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and looking at those Traverse cities that are going to get into the mix, I know it's kind of looking ahead, but what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I was shocked, man. I don't know what you thought, but when I saw that, I was absolutely shocked because I think from Davidson to Traverse City is like 4 hours or something. I don't know how they're going to do it. Have you heard anything? Are any of the southern teams going to have to play them, or are they just going to play all the northern teams?
You do have right now some teams in the blue and red taking each other on.
Yeah.
So it is a long trip up there, and you've got to think for Traverse City, all of their games, if they're not home, they're going to be going back and forth across the state a good amount, but maybe that it broadens the horizons a little bit of the league.
Well, and it's a 2-year deal, so maybe after 2 years, if it's not working, they're going to say, thanks, boys, we'll see you later. But I think part of that, too, is in the district, the Midlands, the Dows, in Division II, they always have to play the Traverse City schools, so I think maybe that played a part in it, and those Traverse City schools, they're by far the biggest schools up there. They have nobody else to play. So I think that's maybe why they did it. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, I thought about Davidson and Lapeer. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, that's 4 hours, man. Holy cow. We'll see how that plays out. It's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in homecoming week right now, obviously. We got all the school spirit going around, all these festivities. Can you talk to me about what makes that so special here in Davidson?
I think this year maybe it's bigger picture time. When you look at everything that's happened in the last year to 2 years. you know, for fans, it's always fun to watch a high school football game. But for it to be homecoming, what really brings it into perspective is just the experiences for the kids and the fact that they haven't had those in the last year and a half. So it's just going to be great to see.
That's a great point. Yeah, they had no dance last year, no parade, none of that. I think about just where we're at right now. Look at, got the new field, got the new track, everything that's going on over here. They're building all these things. Maybe if you are someone who's coming home that hasn't seen any of this, maybe you're a graduate 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you might come here and be like, whoa, this is awesome, man. And then you're kind of proud of your school because, man, we're winning and we're getting all this new stuff and it looks great, man. We look pretty big time here.
This is your first time seeing it, Ryan. What do you think?
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I knew it would be. I've seen the drone shots and pictures and everything, but man, this is awesome. I love the turf. I like the 2 different colors every few yards, 10, 5 yards, whatever it is, man. It looks beautiful. Walked on the track, had a little new track feel to it. It looks great, man.
Yeah. And finally, so they're 2-3 right now. What do you guys think about their playoff chances? What do you think it's going to take for them to get into the playoffs?
It's just one at a time, right? I mean, you got to just take it one game at a time. Looking at the schedule, it's there, the opportunity's there, but you can't overlook anyone. You've got to take it one game at a time, and I'm sure that's the message in the locker room right now.
It depends on what other teams do, whether if you only win 5 that you're going to get in. We'll see. Obviously, that's happened before. Davison's done it. Grand Blanc has done it numerous years in a row with only 5 wins.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win the next 3. I don't see any problem with the next 3. No offense to those teams, but they're having, the Saginaw's and the Powers, they're having down years right now. I think it's going to come down to that last game, man. It's going to come down to Lapeer, whether you can get that last win to guarantee that you're going to get in there. And I'll tell you, Lapeer's a tough team. After losing their first game, they can run that ball, man. Braden McKenna is a bad boy, man. He's pretty good.
They can sling it pretty well too. What an experience for these guys too that are still trying to build that experience at the varsity level. But you're put right in a position where it's okay. Every game moving out is going to dictate if we play in October or not.
Yeah, and you got the coaching staff to do it too. You know they're going to be prepared. You're going to be prepared for that last game, and I like how the schedule played out, though, for them, too, where you do have some winnable games here in a row. You got a few of them right in a row. Build that confidence going into week 9. That's what they need, because if they win 3 in a row, which would then be 4 in a row, man, they're going to feel, they're going to be ready to go for Lapeer last week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming here today. That's the end of our show. We'll see you at the game time, folks.
Diving grab for the Cardinal touchdown. Bouncing to the outside is Flowers. Gets the yardage to gain. Stays on his feet. Still moving down the far sideline. Sullivan now rolling to his left, dumps it back, little screen to Kreiderman, and nobody home on the near sideline.